I say I gotta keep my head above water. I've been going hard, gotta go a little harder. I've been thinking smart, gotta think a little smarter. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless. I said I gotta keep my head above water. Catch me in the kitchen, I be whipping with the water. Family over niggas, blood thicker than water. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless. Remember I was trying to stay afloat, now I'm out here making dough, let's make a toast. I'm the youngest nigga with the greatest flow. Yo, they wasn't round when I needed help. Trying not to drown, now I feel like Michael Phelps. Made myself a boss, y'all niggas on that dumb shit. Young shit, like he paralyzed, he don't run shit. Dumb prick, if we go broke, we gon' hunt shit. With guns and shit, round with billionaires in the trunk and shit. You was laid up, I stayed up, count cake up, bagging weight up. I fronted niggas, time to pay up. I need it pronto, my gun's fully auto. I'm something like Picasso, how I paint pictures. I done touched 6 figures, I'm the same nigga. And when you touch 7, watch out for these hating niggas. It's real, young baby, flow of the century. Still never leave my brothers, there will never be another. I say I gotta keep my head above water. I've been going hard, gotta go a little harder. I've been thinking smart, gotta think a little smarter. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless. I said I gotta keep my head above water. Catch me in the kitchen, I be whipping with the water. Family over niggas, blood thicker than water. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless.
Yo, gotta keep my head above water. Twins on the way, 1 son and 1 daughter. 25 to life, they hit my nigga with a quarter. Every time he see the sergeant, he wanna slaughter. Gang don't stop, a nigga still taking orders. Put it on the block soon as it come across the border. Guns everywhere, you think a nigga was a hoarder. I leave you with a wheelchair, cane or walker. Dealing with the slick talk, pain and the torture. Show up at your funeral, I came to support you. Tell them what to do to you, I am the enforcer. All I do is keep it straight, I will never cross you. Only fuck with 911 when I'm in the Porsche. I be talking drug shit, sorry if I lost you. CSI first 48, law and order. Catch me in the kitchen, I be whipping with the water.
I say I gotta keep my head above water. I've been going hard, gotta go a little harder. I've been thinking smart, gotta think a little smarter. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless. I said I gotta keep my head above water. Catch me in the kitchen, I be whipping with the water. Family over niggas, blood thicker than water. All I know is hustle, get that shit regardless.
All I know is hustle. All I know is hustle. Every day, head above the water. Head above the water.
Lord, let me forgive, never let me forget. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. You won't beef with the king, what is you gonna do? This is another episode of Hood Tales with Conehead coming to you live and direct, early bird edition. This is episode 261. Thank God it's Freeday edition. And if you can look in my eyes, tell me what you see. And I was sitting here up early this morning looking at some old Dope Boy documentaries and shit. I'm on my Dope Boy doc shit. Just going over the faces and the names of the kingpins and queenpins of the times and the eras. And it's kind of cool, you know, like to know like way back when. Back yonder, you know, when I first moved on 10th Avenue, you know, I was surrounded by a bunch of drug dealers and hustlers niggas, so, and I was so intrigued by that shit growing up, You know, if you listen to some previous podcast episodes, I talk about sneaking out the house, going and hanging out under the trees with the dope boys while they serve, and you know, did they recreational drug use, whether it was smoke weed or key bump, some cocaine here and there. Just something about fascination with that lifestyle, fascination with that street element, fascination with that culture, and just knowing way back when I was a youth that was something that I wanted to get into. I really didn't have the grasp of the concept or the obvious about where it came from. Like when my, you know, me being adopted and not, you know, on my biological side, made things a little awkward growing up because certain things just didn't make sense to me. No matter how, you know, mom them tried to put it, it just never made sense because I guess what's in you come out you as, you know, as years go by, as you grow and mature. Because I never knew who my father was or what he did until I got old enough to meet my mother at 15, my biological mother, and that's when, you know, the situation came up. And then when I, you know, 09, I meet my dad's family, and that's where everything clicked. Everything started making sense. Why I was so gun crazy and why I gravitated to the streets so bad. Not even realizing that came from DNA that was embedded in a nigga. But I didn't know because, like I said, I didn't know who my father was. I didn't know nothing. I knew I was adopted and I knew Rottweiler and Boss Lady race. You know what I'm saying? So when you have an element that's unfamiliar and you don't know where it come from, you don't know why it's like that, it tends to change things. So looking through the eyes of a child, realizing when I got a certain age, I jumped off the porch at like 13, and you know, it changed my life forever. And it took me through some journeys, you know, and it took me through some trials, it took me through some tribulations, it took me through some great rejoicing and some, you know, heartbreak, you know, and disappointments. But through it all, as I look back and I look through my eyes and see what I see, I'm blessed and I'm thankful that I got to experience it. I'm blessed and I'm thankful that I was able to eventually, you know, rise, grow, you know, experience different things. Because for the most part, I had to look at it and be realistic. Like, shit, you know, my dad was a major player in his era, you know, and it's like I question myself sometimes when I think about, you know, his accomplishments and achievements and accolades and shit like that. Not trying to compete or compare, you know. When my Aunt Barbara passed last year, I know a lot of my cousins and family members at the funeral who spoke highly of my father. Like, he was him. And that was cool to know that at the end and the beginning of the day, you know, he did a lot for the family. He did a lot for his accolades were just like 30 some years later, and they still talk about my father like, you know, he never left. You know, a lot of people still, when they see me, they see him, and it's like it's different comparison, but kind of similar. But you know, I have a lot of his ways. I have a very huge amount of his ways. I got my mama ways too, though. So it's a bad combination. But you know, I'm thankful for it. But when I look into my eyes and I see my soul and I see, you know, I was only doing what, you know, my purpose was. Like, that's what I was put here for. Not saying to do what society says is wrong, but do what I felt was what I wanted to do. I enjoyed what I did. I didn't have no regrets about it because I know for myself I wasn't harming anybody. Nobody that I was involved with was harming anybody. Whether you was coming to buy or you was my personal people. I wasn't doing anything or giving you anything to make you act outside yourself. I called it party favors at my time, so that's what it was for me. And at the end and the beginning of the day, I'm thankful that I experienced what I experienced on my life journey, because the streets opened up so many avenues, lanes, and doors for me that I knew I probably would never have if I didn't enter into that realm. Because you got to think about it. I done been all over this country, damn near all 50 states. I done been outside the country, and those trips it's more of those trips to come in the future. And for me, it's like at the end and the beginning of the day, so much. I saw so much that it changed my perspective, and like maybe I might have no empathy and no sympathy. I guess I don't know, because I don't feel like nothing I did was wrong. Everything I felt I did was for the betterment and growth and maturity, and you know what I'm saying. So, and that's just me. You know, I see it in a different way because I lived it and I experienced it. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that busting my ass when I was working at McDonald's and had a job at Burger King and Taco Bell and Country Cabin and, you know what I'm saying, UPS. I could have worked, saved my money, and then eventually, you know, did something to that effect, but it wouldn't have got me there how I got there. I wouldn't have been able to live the life that I lived. I lived a cool life, in my opinion, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not embarrassed about it. I mean, I've caught cases, and you know, due to, you know, that come with the territory. I was listening to Rollo do an interview the other day, and Rollo was like, I'd rather my kids wear Payless shoes and be poor and have me in their life than for them to wear Balenciaga and I'm in prison. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it's your perspective. Me, I don't want my kids to be poor. I don't want my kids to suffer. Now, I'm not going to go out here and throw it all away on no designer shit, because at the end of the day, them kids don't even know what the fuck they be putting on if I was putting them in designer clothes. But I would like for them to have things set up for them for their future. Now, if I hustle like that, that's what I would hustle to do. Leave a legacy, build everything, and then leave an inheritance for them that they can take and, you know, use for their benefit without having to touch anything that I've touched or done the things that I've done. I don't need them shooting people. I don't need them on a stripper pole or, you know, prostituting their body for cash. You know what I'm saying? Depending on nobody to take care of them. Like, none of that. So, you know, it's all perspective in my opinion. But when I look into my eyes, I see the soul of a man who wants to do and is gonna do everything he can for his family. Sacrifice, take the less, everything. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just the beginning. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hood Tales of Conehead. Hit the notification bell. On Spreaker.com, the podcast app, type in Hood Tales of Conehead, you get the same thing. And I'm out.